Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be, is she a user and a taker? Got an email here from a viewer. He says, hey Corey, I bought and read your book and I watched almost all of your videos. It's a lot of fucking videos, dude. He says, my ex-girlfriend came back after she dumped me for the first time after 2 months of a relationship. After she came back, I didn't chase her. I wasn't needy, jealous, or anything. No texts other than arranging dates. And I always kept an eye on her interest level. I never initiated contact first, etc. He says, I kept my game pretty tight. She dumped me for the second time after a month and a half relationship, but she still wanted to have sex for another week before going back home for Christmas to see her kid. She gave the same reason as before. She wanted to try to get together with some guy overseas to sponsor her so that she doesn't have to work away from her kid and could live together with her kid. I told her it's fine with me if she goes. She asked if I could wait for her and not date other girls, but I told her I couldn't promise her that. Smart man. That's the right response. So here's some things to consider. Now, basically what she thinks is that some dude she wants to marry somebody that will take care of her and pay all of her bills so she can have an easy life. But yet she still hangs out and sleeps with you, and she basically wants you to sit on the side as her backup. And you're taking the total right approach to it. It's like, you got to love the other person in such a way that they feel free. And like I wrote about in my book, sometimes relationships need to end. Sometimes it's like you either grow together with somebody or you grow apart. And what I see a lot in our society is I see people stay together in marriages that should have ended a long time ago. I'll give an example. Like one of my recent clients, this guy had been married for 35 years basically. So he's like in his late 50s. He got married when he's like 21. And I remember talking to him, and I always ask people, I said, he basically got to the point where he was like, I got to leave. I couldn't take it. So his kids were pissed off at him for a year. And but he's like, he was never having sex, and all he did was bicker and argue. And he's like, I said, so when did the relationship really start sucking? He's like, 16 years ago. It's like, so they were together 35, 36 years, whatever it was. And so basically for 16 years he stayed with a woman that pretty much made him miserable and he made her miserable. And he basically got to the point where he's like almost 60 years old, and he's like, what the fuck am I doing with my life here? He's like, I've been with this woman for 21 years. Yeah, we got 2 beautiful grown children. We got great grandkids. But it's like the relationship ended like 16 years ago, and it's pretty much sucked ever since then. And so what he said to his kids was like, hey, I'm not going to be miserable for the rest of my life. We're not happy together. We haven't been happy together for the past 15, 16 years. And you can't tell me that you kids didn't see it and you didn't notice it. But he did what most people did in our society. He did what he thought he needed to do, what society mandated, which, stay in it for the kids. Well, the kids are grown and they're adults now, and they're in their own relationships. And does it really serve you and your wife to stay together and make each other miserable? I mean, they made each other miserable for like 16 years before he finally got the guts to leave. And so what's he doing now? He's out fucking girls half his age and having a great fucking time. He's actually enjoying his life because, he figures, hey, I got, 20, 30 years left, 40 years left, if he's thinking. So you might as well have a great time. And then I see other people that have been together 7, 8 years. They get divorced, and they were only happy for the first 2 or 3 years. Or I see people that get married after 6 months of dating, and then 3 or 4 years later, one or both of them is cheating on each other. And a lot of people in our society, because we've had this pound in our head that we got to be with one person for the rest of our lives, there's a lot of people do exactly what I did when I was in my 20s. Is I got married to my first real girlfriend, and I wasn't head over heels in love with her. I loved her. She was a great girl, but she just wasn't what I really wanted long term. But I did what I thought I was supposed to do. I did what everybody told me I was supposed to do. I did what society told me I was supposed to do, and I made myself fucking miserable. And we were making each other miserable, my wife and I, and we didn't have any kids, thank God, at that point. And I realized, like, I'm not ever going to get myself into a relationship or married long term unless I'm 100% sure. And what I've learned is that you meet one person, because like when you're younger, you think, I'll never find anybody else if I leave this relationship. And what I've learned over the past several decades is that people come into your life, and some women are meant to be in your life for 1 or 2 nights. Some it's 1 or 2 years. Some of them it's several years. Some of them might be several decades. It really doesn't matter. Every person in your life, not just your intimate relationships, they're there because they have a gift for you, and you have a gift for them. And like I said, you either grow together or you grow apart. And I've had women I loved and I adored, but I didn't want to marry. And we had a great relationship. And they were living, one particular girl, she was living in another country. And I just wasn't in a place where I wanted to get married. And neither was she, for that matter. I mean, she was in the process of going back to college to become a doctor. And we're still great friends to this day. And it's just sometimes a relationship needs to end. And you can still love each other and still care about each other, but you're just not crazy and infatuated with one another anymore. And in this particular case, she's like, hey, I think I want somebody to take care of me. And you're like, hey, well, go have fun, sweetheart. Give me a call if it doesn't work out. And all you do with her is you hang out, you have fun, and you hook up with her. And you're obviously going to continue to do that with other women, and you just allow her to be in your life if she wants to be in your life. And that's what I've learned, because I have open relationships with several girlfriends from years ago. We're like, we might not date for several years because maybe they're in a relationship or I'm in a relationship. Then we get back together. Maybe things have changed a little later on down the road. We're both single. And we end up hanging out and hooking up. And that's just the kind of relationship I have with women that I have a history with and a past with. It's like, the way I look at it is that the love never ends. It's just the relationship simply changes. And I know for a lot of people that haven't experienced that, that's like me speaking French. They have a hard time comprehending that. But when you really love another person and you want the best for them and they want the best for you, even though you're crazy about each other, sometimes your lives are just moving in different paths and your values are not aligned and your goals aren't aligned, and you just let that person go. And if they want to come back to you, they'll come back to you. In the meantime, you just have fun with other people. There's 6.5 billion people on the planet. You'll never be able to meet all the amazing women that you can date in the world. You could spend the rest of your life asking girls out and going on dates, and you still would never be able to go out with all the women that would go out on dates with you and have sex with you and have relationships with you, because there's so many. And so when one relationship ends, or you're not really getting what you want out of it, be free to invite the other person to, like this particular case, just, hey, go have fun, go explore that. If it doesn't work out, give me a call. I'd love to see you. That's all you have to do. You let the person come and go as they please. They go and they check out the grass, and they realize, wow, it's not really so greener on the other side, and you really are amazing. And when they come back, you don't have to get into a relationship with you. You can just continue to hang out, have fun, and hook up, and only become exclusive with people that you really want to be exclusive with, because you don't have any desire for anybody else, because they fulfill you in every way. That's the only reason you should be exclusive with somebody, is because you're meeting their needs and they're meeting yours. And you just, even though you see beautiful members of the opposite sex every day, you don't want anything with them because you're completely fulfilled. You feel whole. You feel happy. You feel complete in your relationship. You feel totally content. You feel like, like for me, when I'm in an exclusive relationship, I literally feel like I'm with the most beautiful, most amazing person in the world. And I don't really pay attention or look at other women because I think I'm with the hottest fucking chicks and sliced fucking bread. That's the way I look at it. And until I feel that, I won't agree to be exclusive when I'm dating. And that's a great philosophy and a great mindset to have, because you never find yourself getting into relationships that you don't really want to be in, or staying in relationships longer than you should. And there's just way too many people in our society that stay in relationships way longer than they need to. But your attitude towards this girl is the best way it could be. Just let her come and go as she pleases, and continue to date and hook up with other women, because maybe she'll meet the guy that she's looking for, because you'll either end up continuing to hook up with her, or you're going to find somebody better if you apply the things that I teach. It's the best way to go about it. So if you have a question you want to ask me, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, which will be in the left-hand side of your screen, and send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max, and just give me several days to get back to you with a response. If you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session, and you can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which will be at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you want to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook, on my website, underneath the email sign-up box, is a box that has a link that'll take you right to the Amazon Kindle download page for my book. Once you get there, if you don't have a Kindle device, just download one of their free e-reader apps for whatever electronic device you want to read my book on. And if you appreciate the value of the information I offer in this video newsletter, the articles on my website, or my ebook, you can show your appreciation right now by going to my website, and on the Wibbia toolbar at the bottom of your screen, click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information. And I will talk to you soon.